What if one person could run an entire business as a solopreneur? Not just imagining it, but being able to build it, to grow it, and reach people anywhere. In this talk, Navya, who's a freshman at Doherty, explores how AI is enabling small business owners to turn their ideas into something bigger, breaking barriers that once limited how far they could go.
What if one person could build a business entirely on their own? No, not just come up with the idea for it, but actually build a product, design it, market it, and sell it. For the longest time, that wasn't possible. If you wanted to build a business, you needed a team of people who understood branding, customers, and knew how to take a business from an idea to an actual revenue-generating company. But today, that barrier is slowly disappearing. I lived in India for a long part of my life, actually until like 2 years ago, and over there, small businesses were everywhere. They were a part of everyday life. There were small tailor shops tucked into narrow streets, which were often run by one person who knew all of their customers by name. There were small home cooks that prepared meals for families that depended on them. And there were small shop owners that sold everything from stationery and toys to food and snacks. One thing that all of these businesses had in common was that they were all built on years of hard work. One thing that really stood out to me about this was how much effort and talent the store owners put into running their stores. But at the same time, I could also see that they were all limited by how far they could grow. Most of them depended on either foot traffic or regular customers for their source of revenue. So I remember wondering when I was younger, what would happen if they weren't limited by location? What would happen if the work of that tailor or that home cook could reach beyond just their street? The challenge here wasn't ability, it was access. I experienced this on a similar level. I experienced this on a much lower level when I was younger. I used to love creating handmade things like quilled earrings, loom bands, and I used to love baking cookies and cupcakes to sell to my family and friends. But I remember wondering, is there any way for me to scale this business? Can I make it bigger in any way? How do I reach more people? But I got stuck really fast. I didn't know how to turn my ideas into actual sustainable businesses that could reach people beyond my immediate circle. There was no clear path from this is a good idea to this is a real business. Looking back, I wasn't lacking motivation or creativity. I was just missing tools and guidance to help me get there. But that situation is changing a lot right now. Artificial intelligence is becoming sort of like a team for small business owners. It's helping them analyze market trends, come up with ideas, create promotional products, and it's helping them with their businesses in general. It's doing what you once needed a large team. It's enabling individuals to do themselves. One place where this connects to recently is my dad's friend is starting a local farm in India where he's using natural and sustainable methods to grow produce. And he's trying to sell it not just in local communities in India, but also around the United States. But that's a big jump to go from a local farm to an international market, and it requires understanding customers in another country, building a way to reach them, and supplying all of the demand that might be there across long distances. So it proved to be a big challenge. And he works on his own. He doesn't have a team or anything, so that's where I came in. I started to help him, and we used AI tools to develop a website, to promote his products to more people, and to find potential buyers. So this really showed us how what used to take a lot of people could now be done by much fewer people and artificial intelligence. This made me realize something else also. What if the people in the small businesses in India had access to these tools? What if more people around the world could discover them and support them in their businesses? Today, you are no longer limited limited by access. Earlier on, you used to be limited by access because access equaled opportunity. Access to networks, access to tools, and access to guidance was what limited your amount of opportunity. If you didn't have a lot of access, you automatically didn't have a lot of opportunity. But today, you're no longer limited by that access. As Steve Jobs once said, the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. But today, what the difference is you don't just have to believe it, you can actually do something because now you have the tools to begin. But it's also important to realize that AI is just a tool and it can't replace your creativity. Sure, it can help you move faster, do more, and reach farther, but it doesn't know what truly matters to you or what the kind of impact that you want to make is. So that's where it can't replace your creativity. The real question isn't whether AI can build businesses. The real question is what will we choose to build with it? The future of business is no longer defined by what you have, but rather what you choose to build with it. Anyone can start anywhere. The next great company doesn't have to be a big one. It could be a small individual owner of a shop or a home cook or a tailor or anyone. Anyone can become the next great business. Thank you.